Hi, friends. Hi, friends. I'm Barry. And this is my amazing support gang, Zayden, Avery, and Bert. We're here to invite you into something truly magical. The miracle of the season.
This year, we're asking you to collect new books and board games. Yes, they must be new. And deliver them to the 2025 Chili Cook-Off. Community Pay It Forward, or your local children's board at the hospital closest to you.
These gifts will bring comfort, imagination, and joy to children who need it most.
We also want you to read your favorite story, just like you would to your own kids, and record it for us to share on air.
Help us by purchasing these books and board games.
Open the cover and sign it with your family name, too blank for a nurse to fill in.
Let's celebrate the beauty of every story, and every act of love.
Tell us about your favorite holiday memories. What did you celebrate? What moments with family and community do you cherish most?
Your voice could bring a beloved tale to someone who's never heard it before.
Businesses, we need you to. Sponsorships help us reach more families and make this season miraculous. Join us in showing your love for the community. Join us in the miracle of the season.
Visit communitypayitforward.us to learn more, get involved, and share your story.
Hey everyone, the first thing I want to say is it is Thanksgiving week here in America, and I want to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving. And I would like to encourage everyone to where, you know what, you're going to have a little bit of extra food. Maybe bundle some of that food up and take it to someone down the street who didn't have the large family. Maybe take and bundle some of that food up and take it to your local shelter. Just a suggestion. Let's really make this a Thanksgiving day for everyone. Okay, so one of the things that I am most thankful for are people like my next guest, Maria Dolores. She is one of the most beautiful people I've ever known. And she has started a program called the Human Contract, which is just so, Maria, it is so like-minded. You and I, our organizations are really towards just giving people what people deserve, what people need, and actually what people are owed, and that's just a chance and dignity. But welcome to the show, and how are you doing?
Thank you, Zach. It's so good to see you. I'm happy, and I'm full of gratitude for today and for life. Of gratitude for my daughter and what you and I what we are creating. And I've worked with thousands of funerals. I've casketed 3,000 people. I've attended more than 1,500 funerals of all religions: Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu, Sikh, and secular. So with that, it's also a lot of gratitude for life, and that's really why it's part of why I feel a lot of love for humanity and for people. And it some people think it's weird. How can you say that that you feel love for people? But it's to see beyond all the labels, to see beyond the color of our skin, or whether we have lived a monetary rich life, or if we lived in with struggles and financial difficulties, whether we had a long life or a short life. It's really with the awe of just life. So I'm really happy. I'm happy to be here with you.
I always feel like I think I'd rather have curiosity over money a lot of times, because I want to learn. And one of the reasons why you're so important to me is what you've done with the funerals. I am not a religious person. I am a religion curious person. I want to learn more about different religions than, I want to learn everything as I can about every religion, about every sect, about all of them. Just because I think that there is so much in ignorance that derives hate. I really believe that, it's fear and it's ignorance that leads to the hatred that people feel for each other. And I think that if we can just take and every day teach somebody or learn something new every day about someone else, I really think that that can take and start pushing some of this bad feeling back and start raising other people where they need to be. Is
Yeah.
that is that really one of the reasons why you're doing this?
Yeah. Actually, it started 10 years ago when or more. I would say it started longer ago, but going through difficulty, like when my mom died, I was with her in 2009, and to see her in her final moments, and to restore her integrity when she died. But it was also a very important pivot moment, a pivot year for me was in 2013 when I divorced. And during that time, I say that, my ex-husband's grief over the divorce came. That's amazing. That's hilarious. So what also happened was that my ex-husband died of a brain tumor. So and that, all this turbulence and what we had, um and my personal experience of facing and going through this fear, realized is that we are born with rights, and that we all need to mature with our responsibility. I give my ex-husband the right to hate me, that we have the right to all our emotions, and that's stated in the constitute the human rights, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, that we have the right to our body, we have the right to our emotion, we have the right to our thoughts. But with those rights, we should also have responsibilities. And so it's how we mature as individuals, but it's also how we mature as a species. And so that's what the human contract is about. And so 10 years ago, I wrote this book, State of Grace, Human Rights and Human Obligations. And then my co-founder, Stefan, was also with me when I was a keynote speaker at the World Peace Conference in 2022. And in 2023, I received the Ambassador for World Peace Award. And just recently, I was in California, and I received an honorary doctorate for the work that I'm doing. And the work is really about how we deepen governance, taking a stand for that we are born with rights and that we all need to mature with our responsibilities. And I also have my upcoming book, the Human Constitution, which is building on this. So the human contract is the contract that we make to ourselves and that we make to the world. And the human constitution is taking a stand for these 7 principles. So the promises that we make to ourselves is the human contract with ourselves. And the human constitution is clearly stating that we have rights and responsibilities.
The human constitution, it also has you have it written in here as like personal maturity
Yeah.
and impersonal maturity and
Yeah.
global maturity.
Right. Interpersonal.
Interpersonal, I'm sorry.
No, yeah. So the first three principles is body, emotion, and thought. That
Hmm.
you are born with the rights to your physical and mental health, and then you have a responsibility to mature, and to mature with our emotions, and um that we have the right to all our emotions, but to what you said earlier, how we when we are feeling our emotions, we feel the hate, we feel all these dense emotions, and but it's also to face and to go through that and to release that. And in this process, I call this process the istima
Yeah.
process. When we go from one perspective and then we dive into fear, anger, frustration, and we come to this breaking point, a realization of there is more here. Who am I if I'm not my this identification of what I experience, what I'm feeling, and to mature. And no one is complete. This is the journey that we are making as humans. So the personal is, and the third principle is about our thoughts, and to question our thoughts when we feel these emotions. It's indication that our thinking might need a broader perspective. So any kind of dense emotion, when there is a cognitive dissonance, there is something more to be discovered. So all these emotions is just indications of you have the right to feel what you're feeling, but there might be other aspects that we do not see. And so that's the first three principles: body, emotion, and thought. And then about our relationship, it's power, communication, and life. So if we talk about the fourth principle, that you have the right to your personal power,
Hmm.
and you have the right to your time, your energy, you have the right to your financial power, and you also have a right to your physical power. And as we mature, also becomes our sexual power as we interact with each other. um, but we have both rights and responsibilities in our power and how we act and interact. So power, and then communication, which is freedom of speech, freedom of creativity, and freedom of expression, but also responsibility in what we say. And here is dignity so important, and to listen to each other, and to be in discovery of other aspects and how others are communicating. Um, and so that's the fifth principle out of the seven. And then the sixth principle is about life, that you have the right to your life, and you have a responsibility to respect others' way of life and other life forms. So it's how we can collaborate and unite and better respect life in the ocean and life on land, which ties to the seventh principle, which is about our collective rights and responsibilities. Because I believe, Zach, I believe that when we unite, this is how we can really make a difference in the world. United, we will make a change.
See, what you were saying is so complex, but it's beautiful because every single one of us has the right to be, and excuse the language here, but every single one of us here has the right to be an asshole. We can be an asshole,
Yeah,
but we can't treat someone else like an asshole. That's not, it's
yeah,
not our right to do that,
yeah,
because other people have just as much right
yeah,
to this location, to be in the space that they're in.
yeah,
There was nobody that, there's nobody that's put in place, thankfully, anymore, that was brought here, and they're here unwillingly. Usually people are where they need to be, where they want to be. You
Yeah.
know, thankfully we don't have anything like slavery here in the United States anymore, and it's except for, well, we do have some slavery. I don't want to say that.
Yeah,
Okay.
we do actually, and that's so fascinating because we have, Zach, this is horrible. We have 45 million slaves in the world today. We have never had as many slaves on this planet than we have today. Yet, Zach, we have never had as many slaves as we have today. We have 45 million slaves in the world today on this planet. Yet we have never had as few in percentage because we are 8 billion people today. So in the 1800, we only had 1 billion people living on the planet. So uh, we have fewer in percentage, but it's all over the world. I mean, I've heard statistics that here in Stockholm, we have 200 apartments with girls that are being bought and sold every single day. So there is slavery everywhere, but we don't really see it. And what I find so horrible is that it's everywhere. And if we have 45 million slaves, then how many million is around that? Buying and selling and trading and security and
Yeah, how
it's
many people are culpable for what's going on?
yeah,
It's, I mean, you got to think about it.
and
There's
that's why,
there's no supply without demand.
right. And yeah, and that's why we're making various movies and to communicate about this. One movie that we're planning is in Uganda, and it's addressing forced marriages that we want to make, and it's based on true events. Um, it's about this 14-year-old girl, Subi, and the understanding of how can you sell your daughter uh, because you are right in that spot. It's live or die, and it's with the idea of that she will be well off. She will be better off, and the darkness of we that's why the seventh principle about our collective rights and responsibilities is so important, because again, like I said, united we can make a change, but the change needs to come both from around uh, the challenges that we have, the division that we have, or the segregation, or the environmental and the pollution that we have. Um, it needs to come in the with the people who are working with and around these challenges, and with other people who have solution, because I believe we have the solution. We already have the technology, but it needs to be better collaboration and giving the right preconditions for people to be able to choose better for themselves. I believe that people want to make the right choices, but it can be uh, difficult. So yeah, right. So here are the seventh principle: body, emotion, and thought, our rights and responsibility for our physical, mental health, and then power, communication, and life is addressing our interpersonal relationship. And then the seventh is our collective rights and responsibilities.
Right. And I wanted to bring these back up because we showed this last time when we had our last interview, which by the way was too damn long ago. Um, but and you know you first off, please forgive my wording. I knew what I wanted to say. I just didn't know what I was saying at the time. But yes, being very well aware of how many unfortunate is you know instances of slavery when we around human trafficking we have. I mean, it is just sad. But my point is that you know what, people are, you know we live in a quote unquote free society, and people should be able to live a free life as they wish to at all times.
Yeah.
Okay, they
Yeah.
should be able to do whatever they want without the fear of you ruining their life. And so that's one of the it's such a beautiful message, Maria, that you put out when it comes to it. But your seven principles are, these are good for you. And once again, you can be a jerk.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah. You were going to say you can be a jerk. Yes.
Yeah, you can be a jerk. Other people can be jerks. That's fine. But you know what? We don't need to be jerks to each other. Truth is, everyone has a right to be here. Everyone has a right to live a life that they're working hard to do to live. And nobody should be treated as a second class citizen, because there is no such thing as a second class citizen. We're all first class, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah, and Zach, this is why the human constitution, the purpose of the human constitution is simply a more mature humanity. And so, an immature way is to believe in the thought that we have, first class and second class and third class. It's that's an immature, that's a very narrow-minded way of thinking. And so uh, people who believe in that thought, uh, it's also creating a lot of frustration and anger and rage. And in that, again, with those dense emotions, there are just, it's basically life knocking on your door saying there are other aspects to be discovered. So whenever we are experience dense emotions, like you're a jerk, and uh, so I'm going to curse now.
No, please.
To say, like, yeah, fuck you, I can say whatever I want to because I have the freedom of speech. Yeah, and you have a responsibility, and we need to mature to to broaden perspectives, and we need to listen to each other. So with the freedom of speech also comes a responsibility to listen and a strive to mature.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the old Spider-Man moniker with great humanity comes great power.
Yeah.
So, hey,
Yeah.
I do have one question for you, and what is the and hopefully this can help explain a little bit more about the Constitution. But what is the difference between avoiding conflict and approaching discomfort with dignity?
Oh, that's such a good question. That's such a great question, because just recently I was looking at um, Sasha, the filmmaker. He make Borat,
Oh,
and
Sacha Baron Cohen.
yes, right. And when I first saw him, I would say maybe the first 20 years that I've seen him, I never liked him, uh, because I thought he was acting in a very undignifying way. Now, broadening perspectives, and when I saw him earlier, um, I thought he was acting in a very immature, undignified way. Today, I can see that, he was really poking on all the, the difficult, like sexism and regarding religion, and he's been really addressing all these hard topics, but doing it with like making fun of and poking. I'm not saying, is that right, is that wrong? I don't know.
Yeah,
I think if from my perspective, I believe in that it's good if we strive towards a more mature and dignified way of communication. But yeah, there are various ways in how we create, but the core is really, why are you doing what you're doing? That's what's interesting.
it is kind of funny that in with what Sasha does, he is the worst of all of us. But he's that way because we
Yeah,
allow him to be the worst of all of us.
yeah,
He's able to recreate those characters because it touches on so many emotions that people have, and I know there's a couple people who definitely don't are not huge fans of his. I know there's a former mayor of New York City that uh, he's or New York that definitely not a fan of his. So
right. He's making fun of, right? He's been poking and making fun of a lot of people. But, looking at what he has created now for 20 years, it's because when he is Sasha, when he is authentic, when he with him, if we look at the broader perspective today, uh, what he has created is to make fun of people, of politicians, and he's making fun of people in power, really, in
mhm.
various shapes and form, and I would say authentically standing on the people who has less power, but he has done it in a very different way. Like he's inspired and been taught by like a clown, and to be a buffon, which is like the clown that is making fun of superiority. So I'm not applauding, but I'm not in the context that I see now. I cannot even. I'm not endorsing and I'm not condemning
Yeah,
uh, what he has done, but his ways are impactful in. But the point is really, why are you doing what you're doing? Is it simply to make ridicule of another person, or is it another? Do you play a longer game, a bigger perspective in what you are creating? And I find it just fascinating. For me, and what I stand for is with dignity and with maturity. And he said himself that a lot of things that he has created is very immature. So yeah, obviously we can do a lot of things differently, and we can all mature, right?
yeah, and the truth is that once again, you know what? If those things if they disturbed you in your core, okay, yeah, maybe you just don't get the humor. Okay, that's fine. But if what he does disturbs you in your core, he's doing it as a lesson. He's like, you know what? If you want to be this racist guy, I'll show you what the world sees you as. I'll show you how ridiculous it looks to someone else.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's doing it because, once again, he is he is able to do this to show, humanity, how ugly we look at times, and how ugly some of us look. So, Maria, I I truly, truly love everything that you stand for, that Stefan, that you guys are putting together. It's such a beautiful, beautiful organization. I mean, it truly is. There is so much. I know I signed my contract. You guys have my contract. I signed it, and I encourage you all to go to the Human Contract website, and you can get there by scanning this QR code below me.
Thank
While
you.
you're there, make sure that you look for a partner to shop with, and you can take and help support them. You
Yeah.
can help them continue to do what they're doing. The the act of showing up at these funerals and providing dignity to somebody who may not have had dignity, s- stunning. And it shows the beauty of who you are as a human being. And it also shows how simple the act of kindness and the act of supporting someone else can be. Because this isn't pulling out your wallet, this isn't doing anything like that. This is very simply showing that you care about humans. And I thank you for that. I truly, truly thank you. I thank you for being who you are. And
Thank you.
again, I started this whole interview saying I am very thankful for you. And I mean that, because you are truly one of the most inspirational people I know.
Thank you, Zach. And I'm so happy to be here with you and to meet your audience. And I'm looking forward to this coming decade when we together we can make a difference. And it's about all of us to mature and to care for our physical, mental health. It's about to set the rightful boundaries, and sometimes some people need to set more boundaries, and some people need to lessen the boundaries and to open their heart more, and how we collaborate together as a species.
Now,
So I'm very happy to be here with you, Zach, and I'm looking forward also for people to reach out on LinkedIn. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, and we have an exciting future ahead of us.
yeah, yeah. And you can be part of that future by simply scanning the QR code below and supporting them and making sure that they can continue to spread this message. Look, it all boils down to something that we heard as a kid. If you're treating somebody, the way that you're treating somebody, if you look at yourself and you go, wow, I'd hate to be treated this way, stop doing it, turn around, and go at it again. Okay. If you don't want to be treated the way that you're treating someone else, then you're
Yeah,
doing it wrong.
yeah,
Okay. Turn
yeah,
around, treat them like a human being. We all deserve that right. We all have that right.
yeah.
And you don't have the right to make someone less than you are. So
Right.
you simply don't. So, Maria, thank you so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank
And
you.
I look forward to working with you so much more here in the very, very near future.
Yes, yes. Likewise.
All
Thank you.
right.
Thank you.